The fluorescent lights of the law office cast harsh shadows across Marcus Thompson's weathered face as he clutched his 7-year-old daughter Emma's hand. His work boots, still dusty from his construction job, felt out of place on the polished marble floor. Around him, designer suits and expensive perfumes filled the air while hushed conversations about millions and estates echoed through the room. Marcus didn't belong here. Everyone's stares made that painfully clear. When the lawyer called his name, snickers rippled through the crowd of relatives and business associates. Marcus had worked 3 jobs to keep Emma fed and clothed after his wife Sarah passed away from cancer 2 years ago. He barely knew his late uncle Richard Blackwood, the tech mogul who'd built a billion-dollar empire. They'd met only once, at Sarah's funeral, where the old man had sat quietly in the back row. Marcus Thompson, the attorney announced, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses, "You inherit $1 and this envelope, as specified in Mr. Blackwood's will." The room erupted in laughter. Richard's nephew James, draped in a $1,000 suit, slapped his knee. $1, that's rich. Uncle Richard giving the charity case exactly what he's worth. His wife Victoria covered her mouth with a manicured hand, her eyes gleaming with cruel amusement. "Maybe he can buy Emma a candy bar," someone whispered loudly, sending fresh waves of laughter through the room. Emma tugged on her father's sleeve, her brown eyes wide with confusion. "Daddy, why are they laughing at us?" Marcus's jaw tightened, but he kept his voice gentle. "Sometimes people laugh when they don't understand something, sweetheart." He accepted the crisp dollar bill and the sealed envelope with dignity, his calloused hands steady despite the humiliation burning in his chest. As they walked to their beat-up Honda Civic in the parking lot, Emma skipped beside him, seemingly unaffected by the cruelty they'd witnessed. "Can we get ice cream with the dollar, Daddy?" Marcus smiled despite everything. "Sure thing, Princess. Vanilla with sprinkles?" "You know it." Emma giggled, and for a moment, the weight of their struggles felt lighter. That evening, after Emma had fallen asleep clutching her stuffed rabbit, Marcus sat at their tiny kitchen table under the dim light, turning the envelope over in his hands. His name was written across it in Richard's distinctive handwriting. Inside, he found a single sheet of paper with an address and a strange message. "True wealth isn't counted in dollars. The answer lies where kindness built a foundation. Bring Emma at sunset tomorrow. R.B." Marcus frowned, studying the address. It was in the wealthy part of town, about an hour's drive away. He almost threw the letter in the trash. He couldn't afford to take time off work, and gas money was tight. But something about the words nagged at him. Where kindness built a foundation. The next evening, with Emma beside him asking endless questions about their mysterious adventure, Marcus drove to the address. They pulled up to a modest community center in a well-maintained neighborhood. Children's laughter drifted from a playground behind the building, and warm light glowed through large windows. "This doesn't look like a rich person's house," Em observed, pressing her nose against the car window. A woman in her 60s approached their car, her smile warm and genuine. "You must be Marcus and Emma." "I'm Dorothy Chen, the director here. Mr. Blackwood said you might come." Marcus stepped out cautiously. "Mom, I think there might be some mistake. We're just following instructions from my uncle's lawyer." Dorothy's eyes twinkled. "Oh, there's no mistake. Richard visited us every week for 15 years. He never wanted anyone to know, but this place exists because of him. Come, let me show you something." She led them inside, where dozens of children were engaged in after-school activities. Art stations, computer labs, a library filled with new books, and tutoring areas buzzed with activity. Dorothy stopped in front of a wall covered with thank you letters and drawings. "Richard started funding this place after he lost his own daughter in a car accident 30 years ago," Dorothy explained quietly. "He never had children after that, never remarried. But he poured his heart into helping kids who needed it most. Single parents, families struggling to make ends meet. He paid for everything: rent, supplies, salaries, college scholarships. Emma had wandered over to join a group of children building with blocks. Her natural friendliness immediately welcomed. Marcus watched her laugh with kids she just met, and his throat tightened. "I don't understand," Marcus said. "Why are you showing me this?" Dorothy pulled out another envelope, thicker than the first. "Because Richard left specific instructions. He'd been watching you, Marcus. After Sarah's funeral, he had someone keep an eye on you and Emma, not intrusively, just to see how you were managing." She handed him the envelope, and Marcus's hands trembled slightly as he opened it. Inside were legal documents, property deeds, and a letter in Richard's handwriting. "Marcus," the letter began, "I've spent decades trying to atone for being an absent family member, pouring money into helping strangers' children while ignoring my own nephew's struggles. I watched you work 3 jobs to keep Emma's world stable after Sarah's death. I saw you give up your lunch money to buy her school supplies, sleep on the couch so she could have the bedroom, carry her on your shoulders when she was tired because you'd sold your car to pay medical bills. You possess something I lost long ago: the ability to put love before everything else. This community center needs someone who understands what these families face. The position comes with a house, a salary that will let you work 1 job instead of 3, and the chance to help hundreds of children like Emma. The dollar bill I left you, look at the serial number." Marcus fumbled for the bill in his pocket, squinting at the tiny numbers. Dorothy handed him a magnifying glass with a knowing smile. The serial number wasn't random, it was Emma's birthday, and written in nearly invisible ink along the edge were the words, "Emma's college fund, $500,000, First National Bank, account hash." Marcus's legs gave out, and he sank into a nearby chair. I don't understand. Why would he do this? Because, Dorothy said gently, Richard knew that true wealth isn't about having money, it's about having the character to use whatever you have to lift others up. He saw that in you. Emma ran over, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "Daddy, Ms. Dorothy says there's a playground here with swings that go really high. Can we come back tomorrow?" Marcus looked around at the children studying, playing, and growing in this haven that his uncle had quietly created. He thought about the years Weda being present for Emma's homework instead of falling asleep over construction schedules, having dinner together instead of him rushing between jobs, maybe even coaching her soccer team. "Actually, Princess," he said, lifting Emma onto his lap, "I think we might be spending a lot more time here." 3 months later, Marcus had settled into his role as the community center's new director. The house that came with the position was the first real home he and Emma had known since Sarah's death. But the greatest gift wasn't the financial security, it was watching Emma thrive in an environment where kindness was the foundation. The day of the community center's annual fundraiser arrived, and Marcus was surprised to see James and Victoria Blackwood among the donors. James approached him awkwardly, his earlier arrogance replaced by something that might have been shame. "Marcus," James said, his voice subdued, "I wanted to apologize for how we behaved at the reading. We had no idea what Uncle Richard was really doing with his money." Victoria nodded, looking genuinely remorseful. "We thought he was just being eccentric, giving away fortunes to random charities. We didn't understand he was building something like this." Marcus watched Emma teaching a younger child how to tie her shoes, her patience and gentleness a mirror of Sarah's loving nature. "Your uncle understood something important," he told them. "Real inheritance isn't just money passed down, it's values, kindness, and the difference we make in other people's lives." As the evening wound down and families headed home, Emma ran to Marcus with a drawing she'd made. It showed the two of them holding hands in front of the community center, surrounded by other families and children. At the top, she'd written in her careful 7-year-old handwriting, "Home is where love lives." Marcus knelt down and hugged his daughter, remembering Richard's words about true wealth. Looking around at the center filled with laughter, learning, and hope, he finally understood. They had been rich all along, not in money, but in the things that truly mattered. And now, they had the chance to share that wealth with everyone who walked through their doors. The mocking laughter from that law office seemed like a lifetime ago. Sometimes the most valuable inheritance isn't what you receive, it's what you choose to pass on.